Part 64. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womang. Chapter 631. However, soon, Qin Binjao stopped struggling, with a hint of surprise on her face. Hey, this feeling is so magical. If you use true energy to isolate the ice and snow, not only will you not feel cold at all, but you will also feel a little warm. While talking, Qin Binjao stood up from where she was, but still maintained her snowman posture, running around in the yard. Sure enough, Master has an idea. This state is so fun, it feels so cute. Everyone else watching the scene became a little excited and stepped forward one after another, wanting to do the same as Qin Binjao. Tan Kinja was the only one who was almost vomiting blood. How is this going? Why was I treated like this by my aunt when I was a child? All I got was crying in pain and being sick for a few days. And his disciple actually found the fun in it? This is wrong. However, seeing everyone put on snowman suits, even my aunt, Tan Kinja sighed helplessly and joined in. You can't just be unique, right? Maybe, there really is something fun about it? Then, when Suliang packed everything up and walked out of the room, what I saw was a dozen snowmen gathered together, happily having a snowball fight. Suliang was stunned when he saw this scene. Are these my ladies? What's up with the snowman suit? Needless to say, it looks a little awkward at first glance, but if you look closely, it seems pretty good looking. That's when snapped. A ball of snow came over and attracted Suliang's attention. Sulang, come quickly. Qin Binjao laughed, her face flushed, and she was very happy. Let's play together, the two of us have a snowman. See this? Suliang joined in without saying a word, holding his girlfriend in his arms. Suliang and his wives were all lying in the snow, with everyone's faces flushed and their breathing quickened. It's really strange. Even if you fight against a strong person for several days and nights, you won't feel tired at all. But after playing around with my lover for a while and having a snowball fight, I actually felt a little tired. But even this kind of exhaustion is accompanied by a feeling of happiness. Thinking of the chaos and happiness just now, all the girls showed satisfied smiles on their faces. It's really fun to have snowball fights with my husband. Take a little rest. Suliang sat up, looked at the mess in the yard, and sighed slightly. What we just played was indeed a little too much. It made a mess all over the yard and there was no way to clean it up. But you still have to clean it up. After all, it's the new year, so you should do some cleaning. I looked up at the sky again. Although it was already afternoon, it was still early. It should be enough to make some purchases for yourself. As for my ladies, just let them have a good rest. Then, standing up, Suliang placed his girlfriend in front of the stone table aside. Suliang smiled at his ladies and said, "You'd better go back to your room and rest quickly. It's always a bit chilly outside. If you get sick, it won't be good." Hear this? All the girls smiled. Although with their strength, it is completely impossible to get sick or anything like that. But their husbands' concern still made them very happy. They stood up in twos and threes. Looking at Suliang walking out, Wan Qing asked curiously, "My dear disciple, where are you going?" "Go buy some things for the new year." Suliang thought about it. "You still have to buy some lanterns, window grills, couplets, etc. Then there is some food. Always prepare more." This is also the first new year that Suliang and his wives have spent together. Suliang also wanted to prepare well. Buy something? The girls thought for a moment and realized that if they were just shopping, there was no need to go with them. After all, when shopping or something, there is absolutely no opportunity to steal food. It would be better to wait until your husband is ready and then get together. Maybe, you can also find opportunities to steal food or something. Not to mention, if you go shopping with your husband, wouldn't it be difficult for you to participate in the remaining activities of your husband? After all, we have to leave time for the sisters, otherwise, they will be taught a lesson. Just like a certain harmless eldest sister, and a certain Wanqing who used to have the thickest thighs in the family. Then, all the girls waved their hands to Suliang. Then, Sulang, go and come back early. But at this moment, Tan Kinja suddenly came to Suliang's side. Shall I go with you? Sister, is there anything you want to buy? Suliang asked curiously. Well, there are indeed some. Tan Kinja nodded, looked back at the girls, and then said. Please wait a moment, I'll discuss it with them. Immediately. Leaving Suliang alone, Tan Kinja pulled the girls into the room together. Looking at this scene, Suliang was filled with questions. What's going on? Do your ladies have something secret to do? Otherwise, why hide it from yourself? I can't figure it out. I really can't figure it out. However, just for a moment. Tan Kinja walked out of the room, holding a note in her hand. Okay, get ready, let's go. Tan Kinja came straight to Suliang, took Suliang's arm and said with a smile. Sister, did they discuss something? Suliang asked curiously. Is it something I can't know? It was true that Suliang was a little too curious, allowing his sister to hide the matter from him, and even dragging others along to discuss the matter. This is definitely not a trivial matter, right? It's not that I can't let you know, it's just that I can't tell you now. Tan Kinja waved her hand. Ailiang, don't ask too much, just go shopping with me. All right. Suliang nodded. Although he was confused, he still didn't ask any more questions. He still believes in his ladies. Then, come to the street. Even in the Holy Mountain, the flavor of the new year here is not as strong as usual. This made Suliang feel a little surprised. After all, for these immortal cultivators, it is natural for their longevity to increase as their cultivation level increases. Over a long period of time, many things will become indifferent. For example, this so-called New Year. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 632. If your lifespan is only a few decades, then your life is only a few dozen New Years, so of course you should pay attention to it. But, if there are hundreds or even thousands of New Years, this so-called New Year will be just an ordinary day that is dispensable to this. Although Suliang was confused, he didn't think much about it. The top priority is to buy things for the new year with my sister. Came to a shop. Suliang looked at the dazzling array of ingredients and carefully selected them. Soon. Then he found everything he wanted. Putting the money in front of the boss, Suliang warned. Just send all these things to me, it should be faster. Said. He also left the address of his temporary residence. After all, he bought a lot of things, and he also wanted to go shopping with his sister. It was always inconvenient to carry so many things. However, the boss looked at Suliang carefully, and then pushed back all the money Suliang paid. What is this doing? Suliang raised his eyebrows, a little confused. Isn't it enough? That's enough, that's enough. It's just that I'm honored that Mr. Su can come to my store to buy things. How dare I take any more money? The boss quickly explained. When the disaster in the abyss reappeared before, Mr. Su mobilized good and evil forces to fight against the abyss. Although we did not participate, we all saw it. If it weren't for Mr. Su, those of us with weak cultivation would not even be able to open a shop. Even living would be a luxury. I have nothing to thank Mr. Su. This is the only way to express my gratitude. Hear this. Suliang and Tan Kinja were startled, looked at each other, shook their heads and laughed. He didn't expect that he would still have some reputation here. One code is another code. If I don't care, I will die myself. Suliang shook his head with a smile and did not accept the returned money. Boss, you still have to support your family, so just accept this little money. Say it. Take Tan Kinja directly and leave. I didn't expect that my Liang would be called a hero one day. Tan Kinja held Suliang's arm and smiled softly, feeling very proud in her heart. My man is really awesome. It's just a ridiculous compliment. It was a last resort at that time. Suliang shook his head and smiled bitterly. What does sister want to buy? I've finished buying it. Tan Kinja chuckled. Just now. While Suliang was choosing, she had already gone to a store selling clothing materials and handed over her list. After all, it was a surprise prepared for him, so of course he couldn't see it. Night. At this moment, it was already late at night, and the entire mansion was silent. However, there were still candles burning in Suliang's room. Sitting at the table, Suliang had many papers spread out in front of him. At this moment, making various New Year decorations. Suliang planned to make the cutting of window grills, writing of couplets, and things like lanterns and Kongming lanterns in one night. After all, the heavy snow has delayed a lot of time, and the new year is getting closer. Of course it's fun to do this with my ladies, but it's a waste of too much time. It's better to make all these things earlier, and then everyone can decorate them together. That's when. Squeak. The door was suddenly pushed open, and a beautiful figure walked in quietly. Suliang, who was immersed in handicrafts, didn't notice it at all. Until the beautiful figure came to Suliang and gently patted Suliang's shoulder. Suliang, what are you doing? Suliang trembled subconsciously and almost destroyed the window grill in his hand. Immediately, he then felt a soft, silky body full of fragrance coming up to her. Especially the touch on the back of Suliang's head. The soft yet elastic peak is so impressive that it really makes people want to just lean on it. Benjeo, it's so late, why haven't you slept yet? Suliang held his girlfriend's jade hand on his shoulder and asked with a smile. Without Suliang, I wouldn't be able to sleep at all. Qin Benjeo said coquettishly, leaning down and hugging her man tightly from above. At the same time, the tall and proud figure that had already grown very well was tightly suppressed on the man's head. As she moves, up, down, left and right, she looks a lot like a slime. What is this? Jade hands picked up the window grills prepared by Suliang, unfolded them and looked at them carefully. Qin Benjeo said in surprise. Look at it. Will Suliang still do this? I learned a little from time to time. Suliang smiled and continued his work. As you can see, I still have a lot of work here. If I want to rest, I still need some time. You should go and rest early. When you wake up tomorrow morning, I will be ready. They don't want it? Qin Benjeo shook her head, let go of Suliang, and sat directly next to Suliang. I'm here to help too. It's not good to leave Suliang busy alone while we all go to rest. Hearing this, Suliang glanced at Qin Benjeo with some suspicion. Can you do this? Chapter 557 Chapter 556, Preparations before the New Year, Yuji is in place in one step. According to Suliang's understanding of his sister, she probably has no intention of celebrating the New Year at all, right? It's okay now, but before, my sister suppressed her feelings because of her charming body, was indifferent to everything. Although she has family-like feelings for Qin Benjeo, it is really difficult for her to teach Qin Benjeo to cut window grills and celebrate the New Year together. It is simply unimaginable, okay? Isn't it just cutting window grills? People can learn from it. Qin Benjao is very confident. I can definitely learn such a simple thing as soon as possible. I think it's better for you to watch from the sidelines. Suliang said seriously, deeply doubting his girlfriend's confidence. The things I bought are not too many. If they are wasted, there is no place to replace them. Oh, it doesn't matter. Don't worry, I will definitely do a good job. Qin Benjao patted her chest and said, feeling more confident than before under the turbulent waves. See this? Suliang sighed, completely helpless. Since my girlfriend is so confident, it would be inappropriate for me to stop her. Forget it, let her give it a try. Anyway, I bought 3 or 4 times more things than I needed, just to cope with the situation at this moment. As long as my girlfriend is happy, that's fine. As for the materials, let's just waste them. Not that it matters. Look carefully, we don't have much time, I will only teach you once. Suliang folded the red paper in his hand several times and planned to start his teaching. However, at this first step, Qin Benjao was a little confused. Why do you have to fold the paper? Because it's convenient for cutting, don't you know this? Suliang was completely confused. Is this common sense? Even children should know it, right? Why does my girlfriend act like she doesn't know anything? So, how did her sister teach her since she was a child? Why did you teach your girlfriend to be like this? Is this easier to cut? Qin Benjao blinked her eyes and expressed that she didn't understand. Why, I can't figure it out at all. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 633. So, if you're like this, don't join in the fun, okay? Suliang was completely speechless, and for a moment, he didn't know where to start. And just then, another voice suddenly sounded from the window next to the two of them. Don't you even know such a simple truth? I don't remember that I taught you, Yao to be such a useless person. As soon as these words came out, Qin Benjao immediately turned her head and looked angrily at the direction from which the sound came. Master, don't go too far, you just didn't teach me anything. Really? The person who came was none other than Tan Kinja. And, like a thief, Tan Kinja walked out of the window. There was nothing she could do about it, after all, she had just gone shopping with her man during the day. It stands to reason that there is no chance to be alone with one's own man. If you don't sneak in to eat, you won't have a chance at all. Then, he had no choice but to take advantage of this time that should belong to his disciples to get a share of the pie. Different from Qin Benjao's calm and leisurely attitude. At this moment, Tan Kinja has a clear purpose and sufficient reasons. As soon as he entered the house, he rushed straight towards Suliang. He ignored his apprentice's provocation. Tan Kinja went straight to Suliang's side and curled up into Suliang's arms. Liang, if people want to learn something, just teach them. Shaking Suliang's arm, Tan Kinja pouted, looking coquettish. Ahem, it's okay, but if my sister is like this, I can't do anything at all, right? Suliang said helplessly. Although it is nice to hold my sister, it still has a great impact on my actions. Is it like this? Tan Kinja blinked her eyes. In that case, I'll just move a little bit. Say it. Tan Kinja stood up from her man's arms. Immediately. It turned out to be Operation Jade Hand, after a period of deep exploration. Falling slowly. Hiss. Suliang was completely confused. When did his sister become so direct? Adjusted the position. Tan Kinja nodded with satisfaction, guided her husband, and measured the dream with both hands. Okay, now, Let's get started. Tan Kinja leaned forward and kissed her gently, she was so beautiful. And saw this scene. Chin Benjao on the side was furious. Master, you have gone too far. It was my turn today, so why not eat it in front of me? Early morning. Looking at the rising sun outside, Suliang stretched and felt very satisfied. After a busy night, I finally got everything done. Immediately. Looking back at his girlfriend and sister who were sleeping soundly on the bed, the smile on Suliang's lips became more and more obvious. Actually, he could have done all this earlier. Although the number is large, it is not actually very difficult for Suliang. However, because of the interference from his sister and girlfriend, Suliang wasted a lot of time and has been busy until now. But as long as my girlfriend and sister are happy, it was just a little more busy. Considering Suliang's current level of cultivation, it was just a night without rest, nothing like that. After putting everything away, Suliang walked outside the door. Looking at the still silent mansion, he chuckled and walked into the kitchen. Yesterday we played really crazy, my ladies were a little tired, and they haven't woken up yet. Soon. When Suliang brought out breakfast, the girls walked out of the room one after another. Good morning, husband. Qin Wanyu moved lightly and came to Suliang, took the breakfast from Suliang's hand, took a look at it, and said in surprise. Is today's breakfast so rich? After all, there is a lot to do today. Suliang smiled and took Qin Wanyu's hand to the table. Everything is served, you can have breakfast. When I wake up early in the morning, I have breakfast cooked by my husband. It's really great. Qin Benjao and others enjoyed their meal very happily. And while waiting for breakfast halfway through, the girls heard Suliang say, I made all the things I wanted to decorate last night. I plan to decorate everything today. Do you want to help? Hear this. All the girls nodded. Okay, let's do it together. Although they are all trivial things, as long as you do them with your husband, you will be very happy. After clearing everything on the table, Suliang took out the couplets and lanterns and placed them in front of his ladies. What do you all want to do? I can just hang this lantern. Wan Qing picked up all the lanterns and took her niece's hand. Kinja, stay with me. Chapter 558 Chapter 557, Forming a Group to Eat Secretly? It's just a reunion dinner. Hang lanterns and other things, go from room to room, and you will soon reach your master's room. That's when. Wouldn't it be possible to eat it secretly? As for why I still bring my niece with me. Of course, it will be faster if two people act. Even if there was no discussion, Wan Qing could guess that others must have the same idea. But I only have one master. Then only those who are faster can steal it. To this end, even if I share it with my niece, I won't hesitate to share it. Talk about it. It seems that you have never tried to be alone with your niece. Think about it carefully, why is it still a little exciting? As for why not bring Jing Meng? There was no way, even though Jing Meng said that she and her master were boyfriend and girlfriend, and it seemed that Jing Meng had gradually fallen in love with her. But best friends who have no in-depth communication at all can only affect the speed of eating master secretly. Of course I can't take her with me. And after wonking, Qin Benjao, Mu Qingqian, and Tao Yao Yao picked up the couplets. Leave this to us. Qin Benjao said lightly. We'll definitely get it done soon. After finishing it, go and find Mr. Lang secretly. Humph, Sister Wonking, do you think we don't know what you want to do? There are 3 of us here, and you are only 2. Do you think you can win over us? Joke. By the time you and Master arrive, we have already locked the door to Sulang's room. I just won't let you in, let's see what you can do. And after Qin Benjao and the others. Ying Kaoch, Qin Wanyu, 11 He Ying, and Ji Hongchen divided the remaining bits and pieces of tedious decorations. There is no way, the speed is not as fast as others, and I haven't grabbed it. They can do this, but they are unwilling to do so. But whether it was Qin Binjiao, who was the main palace, or Wan Qing, who had the thickest thighs ever, they were afraid to provoke her. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Wo Meng. Chapter 634. I can only decorate it casually and see if I have time to find Sul Yang. Then, among everyone present, Yuji seemed to be the only one who had no mission. Sister Yuji, what are you going to do? Qin Binjiao asked curiously. Why don't you come with us? Wan Qing extended an invitation to Yuji. As a result, we now have 3 people here. Although there is a Yuji who has not yet started, Wan Qing does not care about that much in order to be able to find her master earlier. However, in response, Yuji shook her head and stood beside Sul Yang naturally. It will be fine if Ul Yang and I are together. Hearing this, all the girls were stunned. Is this cheating? We are obviously fighting over who is faster, but you just want to stay by Lang Jun's side and get there in one step? But thinking about it carefully, there seems to be nothing wrong with doing this. After all, my husband never said this was not possible. Really? Sul Yang nodded. Okay, then Yuji will come with me. Putting up window grills or something like that is quite troublesome if you think about it, and it would be a bit tiring if you were just doing it by yourself. Now that Yuji is with him, it will be much easier. Seeing that my husband already agreed. In the end, we had no choice but to disperse and do our own things. But, secretly poking, the girls sped up. Anyway, Yuji is one whose progress has not yet started. As long as we are fast enough, we can take Sulang as our own before others do. To this, they are all confident. The other side. Follow Sulyang into the room. Seeing Sulyang taking out the window grills, he was thinking about how to decorate them. However, Yuji came directly behind Sulyang, hugged Sulyang, and whispered in his ear. Don't be anxious. How about taking a rest first? You must have been busy all night last night, and I felt very sorry for you. Hear this. Sulyang froze and subconsciously refused. I think it's not necessary, right? If you follow Yuji's words, it won't be a break, but another kind of busyness. No, you want to rest. Yuji said to Sulyang very firmly. At the same time, the jade hand bypassed all obstacles and went deep into it, accurately finding its target. Hiss. Sulyang was stunned and did not dare to take action at all. Sulyang also encountered people who stole food. But this was the first time Sulyang had seen someone as blatant as Yuji. He leaned close to Sulyang's ear again. Yuji exhales like a orchid, her voice is charming and soft. It's been a long time since I've been punished. Moment. Sulyang remembered the various punishments after losing the game in the abyss. Well, you have a point. Sulyang nodded seriously and started decisively. After sending the satisfied Yuji away, Sulyang breathed a sigh of relief. In this way, I should be able to work well, right? It seems that it has been delayed for a long time, but Sulyang's own work has not even started yet. After careful calculation, I am afraid that all my girlfriends will end up. Fortunately, when Yuji left, she took some window grills from Sulyang in the name of helping, which somewhat relieved Sulyang's pressure. But I thought about it carefully. What Yuji took away was only enough for her own room. For Sulyang, there are still many things he has to do. Get started quickly, there will be other things for you to do after the window grills are put up. Although dumplings and New Year's Eve dinner can wait until the reunion night to make them, there are some things that Sulyang needs to prepare in advance. Otherwise, Sulyang would be too busy by himself by then. However, that's when Squeak. The door was opened again, and several beautiful figures quietly walked in from outside. Suliang turned around and looked a little confused. Benjao, Qing Qian, Yao Yao. Why are you three here? He, we are here to help brother Suliang. Tao Yao Yao had a happy smile on her face and couldn't wait to rush into Suliang's arms. Sure enough, she is the eldest sister. The time calculation is too accurate, right? Just when there was no one here, I finished all the things and came to brother Suliang's place. Big sister, the eternal god. Seeing Tao Yao Yao rushing towards her, Suliang subconsciously put down the things in his hands and caught Tao Yao Yao. Have you finished your work? Holding Tao Yao Yao tightly in his arms, Suliang asked curiously. Of course it's done. With my eldest sister here, we are very efficient. Tao Yao Yao said very proudly, her arms tightly wrapped around her husband's neck, and her little head was buried in Suliang's arms. Brother Suliang's taste is really great, isn't it? At this moment, Qin Benjao also came up with Mu Qing Qian. Holding her husband's hand, Qin Benjao smiled and said, Suliang, please take a rest. You have been busy for a long time, right? I think, I can still be busy for a while. Suliang thought for a moment and then said, he just sent Yuji away, and he hasn't done anything of his own, okay. I don't feel how busy or tired I am at all. As for Yuji's punishment, that's nothing at all. Suliang is very comfortable dealing with Yuji, who is both good and fun-loving. However, to this, Mu Qing Qian said firmly. No, senior brother Su, you are very tired and you want to rest. Good guy, when did you learn this trick? Suliang was completely stunned. Is it okay to force himself to be tired? Why did everyone learn from Yuji? But I haven't finished my work yet. Suliang helplessly looked at the scattered window grills on the table at his hand and sighed. He didn't know why, but he had a premonition. I'm afraid I shouldn't even think about finishing these things today. Oh, this little thing is nothing. We can help you. Qin Benjao said seriously. Immediately, pulling Suliang, he walked to the bed beside him. It is also very important to balance work and rest. Even if Suliang is not tired, we are tired and need to replenish Suliang's energy. That's right, we need to replenish brother Suliang's energy. Tao Yao Yao echoed Qin Benjao, looking like a qualified little fangirl. But Suliang was still a little hesitant. However, Qin Benjao no longer gave Suliang a chance. Tear. There was a shattering sound. Qin Benjao pushed Suliang down on the bed, and followed closely behind. Suliang, you don't want to disappoint us either, right? To this, what else could Suliang say? My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womang. Chapter 635. Of course, it is to satisfy the requirements of my ladies. After a long time. Squeak. The door of the room was suddenly opened, and Qin Benjao and three people quietly walked out of the room. Seeing that there was no one around, they breathed a sigh of relief. He slipped away and was originally here to steal food. Although both of them knew it tacitly, it was obviously not suitable for others to know. However, when the figures of Qin Benjao and the others just disappeared. In the adjacent room, Wan Qing, Tan Kinja, Ying Kaoj, and Qin Wanyu walked out of it. Humph, you have occupied a liang for such a long time. You traitor must be taught a lesson. Tan Kinja said with some dissatisfaction. Originally, she planned to let her husband be alone with her aunt and herself. But it was all their fault that Qin Benjao and the others wasted too much time. They waited and met Ying Kaoj and Qin Wanyu. What else can be done now? They are all our sisters, we can't drive them away, right? But if four people are together, it won't feel like eating secretly at all. After all, he is the husband. If the time is too short, it is our turn to worry. Yang Kaoj smiled and comforted Tan Kinja. Okay, Sister Kinja, don't worry so much, let's go find Lang Jun quickly. If it's too late, I'm afraid someone else will get ahead of me. To this, Tan Kinja and others did not dare to agree. There were only 7 of them who dared to come and steal food. Qin Benjao and the others had left just now, leaving only the 4 of them. Who else can take the lead? Let Jingmeng and the others come who have not progressed at all? But after waiting until now, they couldn't bear it any longer. Then immediately walked in the direction of Suliang. At the same time, in the room, Suliang felt a little melancholy as he looked at the missing window grills in front of him. Even though I have done nothing, why do I feel like I have accomplished a lot? But fortunately, Qin Benjao and the 3 of them took away their respective window grills when they left. Otherwise, Suliang doesn't know how long he will be busy. I looked at the sky outside. First, he completed Yuji's punishment, and then sent Qin Benjao and the others away. It's almost noon now. Next, you have to hurry up. I'll be busy in the afternoon. However, that's when. Squeak. The door was opened again, and this time it was Tan Kinja and the others who walked in. Sister, Master, how do you? Suliang felt a little confused. Although he asked subconsciously, he actually already knew the answer in his heart. Our mission is complete, so let's see you. Tan Kinja came to Suliang minding her own business. Immediately, he sat directly in Suliang's arms. Face to face with Suliang, Tan Kinja kissed him. After a long time, their lips parted. Tan Kinja's eyebrows were full of spring, and there seemed to be a clear spring in her eyes. Yang, sister, I'm tired. What should I do? How about giving my sister a massage after I'm done? No, I want it now. Tan Kinja pouted, very determined. Immediately, Wan Qing and others also said together. We want it too. Hear this. Suliang swallowed hard. It seems that I cannot complete my task today. Reunion night. The mansion was extremely lively. Suliang, Qin Benjao, Tan Kinja, even 11 Hang, Ji Hongchen, Yuji, and others gathered in the mansion, busy for today. Actually, for all of them, this small house in the Holy Mountain is not their hometown at all. New Year's Eve should be spent at home with family members. But so what? For them, as long as their husband is there, it is home. The husband and sisters around you are your family. This is a family that lasts a lifetime. And for Suliang, this is even more true. As long as you are with your wives, no matter where you are, it is home. In the kitchen, Suliang moved quickly, processed all the ingredients, prepared them, put them in the pot, and started cooking. It's still early, so of course it's not time to cook New Year's Eve dinner. But as for the preparations for the new year, Suliang still hasn't prepared many of them because of his busy schedule these days. We can only take advantage of this time to prepare well. No way. After all, his ladies are looking for him to steal from him all the time, so Suliang can't do anything. Even while in the kitchen, Suliang do experience the feeling of having nothing but an apron. Can only say, keep up the good work, as long as it is your own ladies, no amount of effort will be enough, okay. However, even now, Suliang cannot work quietly. No way. For our ladies, it is absolutely impossible to stop eating secretly. Certainly. In this environment, for the girls, it is really just stealing from all sides. He sneaked in and came behind his husband. Qin Benjao looked at the food that was already prepared on the table, licking her lips with her fragrant tongue, and felt that she couldn't help it at all. Okay. No way. The food made by my husband is so delicious that I can't get enough of it. The little hand secretly stretched out. Chin Benjeo picked one up, stuffed it into her mouth, and tasted it carefully. Well, you are indeed worthy of being your husband. The taste is indeed above the standard. It's simply great, right? One after another, Chin Benjeo couldn't stop at all. Then, when Suliang came to his senses, the plates next to him were all empty. Benjeo, we will need this later. Suliang said helplessly to his girlfriend. It's okay to eat it secretly. It's okay if you keep a little bit. I didn't buy a lot of ingredients. And afterwards, I will make dumplings with my girlfriends and cook New Year's Eve dinner together. There isn't much time now, and there's no time to do anything else, okay? To this, Chin Benjeo shook her head, puffed out her cheeks, and said very unclearly. Stealing? What stealing? I don't know. I didn't steal at all. Sulang, please don't misunderstand me, okay? However, maybe he spoke too hastily. Immediately afterwards. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 636. Chin Benjeo kept coughing and was completely choked. See this. Suliang had no choice but to pat Chin Benjeo's back and hand her a glass of water. Drink some water. I can't help it, my girlfriend is just too cute, so I just eat her secretly. Suliang was not willing to blame his girlfriend at all. Well. Suliang drank all the water in the quilt in one breath and finally breathed a sigh of relief. Finally came back to life. But although I choked, the food made by my husband was so delicious that I couldn't eat enough, okay. It's a pity it's gone. Otherwise, I would have to eat more anyway. Look, you've finished eating all the food I have here. Go back quickly. Suliang gently patted his girlfriend's little head. Sister and master are preparing to make dumplings. You should also go and help. But I don't know how to do it, what should I do? Chin Benjeo blinked and said with some embarrassment. My master hasn't taught me much since I was a child, okay. If she hadn't seen her master prepare so skillfully just now, she would have doubted that her master wouldn't be able to do it at all. Don't worry, I'll teach you when I'm done with this. Suliang smiled and pushed his girlfriend from behind. Okay, let's go quickly. The oil fumes here are very heavy. It will be bad for the skin if it lasts for a long time. Having said that, at Chin Benjeo's level, whether a little oil smoke can affect the skin is still a very serious question. And heard this. Chin Benjeo immediately became serious. Ah, okay, I'm leaving now. Can it actually affect the skin? How scary. Woohoo, Sulang has really worked hard to stay in such an environment every day. He must compensate Sulang. Seeing Chin Benjeo finally leaving, Suliang breathed a sigh of relief and turned around to continue his work. My girlfriend secretly ate some of it, but it wasn't a big problem. It would be nice to make some more. The materials are all ready and Suliang can make them quickly. Less than a moment. Suliang packed up everything in front of him and breathed a sigh of relief. I finally finished all my work. It was not easy with the interference of my wives. Put away everything you have made. Suliang turned around and returned to the room. And at this moment, the girls in the room were chatting animatedly about something. Looking at the melon seeds and fruit peels all over the floor always gave Suliang a sense of déjà vu. Normally, of course they pay attention, but today is the reunion night, they are so happy, why do they pay so much attention? Of course, the more lively the better. Suliang smiled at his ladies, looked at the ingredients for making dumplings that had been prepared in advance, and greeted his ladies. "We're going to make dumplings. Does anyone want to join us?" I, I, I'm coming." The girls responded immediately and appeared next to Suliang in an instant. The table was not big to begin with, but I almost couldn't sit down at this moment. He looked at his ladies sitting around him. Suliang shook his head and laughed. "When I asked before, everyone thought it was troublesome, but now they are more positive than the other. Is this reasonable? This makes sense." Sitting in his seat, Suliang suggested, "How about I prepare the materials and you pack them?" As soon as these words came out, Wan Qing, Tan Kinja, Qin Wanyu, and even 11 Hing, Ji Hongchen all nodded and said, "Okay." But everyone else looked at Suliang with some distress. But what can we not do? After all, it is normal for each of them to be either a proud daughter of a sect or a royal family of a country and not know how to make dumplings. Especially Jing Meng. As the leader of a sect, and with his own cute attributes, of course he doesn't do this kind of thing. "It doesn't matter, I'll teach you." Suliang waved his hand. "If anyone doesn't know how to do it, just come to me directly." Hear this. Wan Qing and others, who had been silent just now, immediately regretted it. Hateful. This is simply an opportunity to steal in an open and honest manner. Did you miss it? Well, good disciple, in fact, even if you are a teacher, you won't be able to. Wan Qing coughed lightly and said calmly, "I don't want to take the opportunity to steal it in an open and honest manner. A little face or something, he is his man anyway, so it will be gone if he is gone." However, Suliang just glanced at Wan Qing lightly. "Master, you said, your family will not lie to your own family." "Oh, I really don't know how to do it as a teacher." "Master, you are right. As a teacher, I can still lie to you, don't you think so?" I believe Master will not lie to me, so Master, please tell me. You've had enough. Why don't you save some face for your teacher?" Wan Qing was immediately furious. The master was the most annoying and would never give herself a chance. Humph, isn't it just an opportunity to steal some food? If the master doesn't give it to you, then you just don't want it. What's so great about it? Turning away angrily, Wan Qing simply didn't want to talk to Suliang anymore. Suliang was very at ease with this, and it was natural. "I'm already busy enough, so why don't Master come join in the fun, okay?" Suliang turned his head expressionlessly, and looked at Tan Kinja again. "Sister, you should be fine, right? Of course it's no problem. Today is the Chinese New Year, so I just wrote the New Year chapter. Chapter 559, Chapter 558. This kind of teaching, can you please give me another stack?" Tan Kinja said immediately. Seeing that her aunt was blocked by a Liang, of course she would not say anything more. "It's embarrassing, okay. It would be fine if it was just me, but now my apprentice is still here. I don't want to embarrass myself in front of my apprentice at all. See this." Suliang's eyes swept around the girls. The few people who had not spoken before immediately shut their mouths. They and Tan Kinja had the same idea. Didn't you see that even Wan Qing, the master, was defeated? I am not that stubborn, and I don't want to touch Suliang's bad luck at this time. See this scene? Suliang nodded with satisfaction. Well, now, I can finally work well. Otherwise, if the ladies are allowed to cause trouble, they may not be able to eat this meal of dumplings until dawn. Suliang knew very well what his ladies would do. You can't give your ladies this chance at all. However, that's when Qin Benjao suddenly raised her hand. "Suliang, come and teach me, I don't know how." Hear this. The girls immediately gave Qin Benjao a look of pity. "It's over, Qin Benjao is done. Her husband had just expressed his attitude, but Qin Binjao actually knowingly committed the crime. She will definitely be beaten by her husband, right? Although it seems that my husband is reluctant to do this. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Wo Meng. Chapter 637. However, to everyone's surprise, Suliang immediately stepped forward and said with a chuckle, "Come, let me teach you. See this." All the girls were stunned. Especially Wanqing and Tan Qinjia, one of them was questioned by Suliang and the other was directly named by Suliang. But even so, they still didn't get what they wanted. Why can this girl Qin Binjao do it? Not willing to give in, not willing to give in at all. Unexpectedly, my husband would treat one person favorably over another. Master, Liang, it turns out that love will disappear, right? Sure enough, we are all redundant, right? The more she thought about it, the angrier and aggrieved she became. Wanqing couldn't bear it anymore and asked, "Traitor, what do you mean? My master asked you to teach me, but if you don't come, why is it okay if Binjao says you can't do it? If you can't come up with a reasonable reason today, let's see if I let you sleep. Even if it's New Year, I'll make sure you can't show up for 10 days and 10 nights. To this, Suliang just glanced at Wanqing lightly. Binjao really doesn't know how to do it, but master, you do. Just one sentence. Wanqing and Tan Qinjia shut their mouths. Yes, it seems that I do know how to do it. I was so angry before that I naturally forgot about it. Moment. Wanqing sat back, as if nothing had happened, and coughed lightly. Shall we start now? See this. Except for the few people who were waiting for Suliang's teaching, Wanqing, Qinjia and others all started their own actions. It seems that today is not a suitable time for stealing food. In that case, let's forget it for now. And the other side. Seeing that his master stopped talking, Suliang breathed a sigh of relief. Immediately said to his girlfriend, "Look carefully, let me demonstrate it to you. This is actually very simple, so there is no need to stress." While talking, Suliang wrapped a dumpling very dexterously and placed it in front of Qin Binjao. Wow, Suliang is so powerful. Qin Binjao couldn't help but clapped her hands and praised her from the bottom of her heart. You idiot, you should study hard. I'm not giving you a demonstration just so you can praise me. Suliang helplessly knocked his girlfriend on the head. Come on, try it yourself. But, I haven't learned it yet, what should I do? Qin Binjao said hesitantly. Her panicked look was so real that Suliang couldn't tell whether his girlfriend really knew how to do it or if she was pretending. But even so, Suliang still insisted. Try it, it's easier than you think. See this. Qin Binjao nodded. Okay, if I really can't do it, Suliang, you must teach me well. Yeah, I know. Suliang nodded and said, although he felt that there was a trap in his girlfriend's words, she was his girlfriend after all, so of course she should be pampered. Then, after getting Suliang's consent, Qin Binjao took action at the speed of light, made a tattered dumpling and put it aside. Suliang, look, I really haven't learned how to do it. Looking at Qin Binjao's finished product, Suliang fell silent. Rather than saying this is a dumpling, is it more like dough mixed with fillings? This is no longer a question of whether it can be boiled, but it cannot be cooked at all. His girlfriend has already done this, how could Suliang not see it? My girlfriend is just pretending. Sigh. Suliang threw this thing aside, stood up consciously, and came behind his girlfriend. Okay, I'll teach you step by step. Suliang had a very accurate grasp of his girlfriend's thoughts. She had spent so much effort just for this moment. Looking at Qin Binjao's operation, Tao Yao Yao on the side was simply stunned. It turns out, can it still be like this? Learned. As expected, she is the eldest sister, she is awesome. As for Wan Qing and others, they were so envious that they almost wanted to throw everything in their hands away. At this moment, they are already beginning to consider whether they should also look like that on purpose and pretend to be. And the other side. When the girls have different thoughts. Qin Benjao was already leaning in her husband's arms, humming softly, and began to enjoy herself. Can you please give me another stack of this kind of teaching? Under Suliang's difficult teaching, Qin Benjao finally learned how to make normal dumplings. Seeing his success, Suliang was very pleased. Finally learned it? Why does my girlfriend, who is usually such a smart person, seem a little stupid today? No matter how Suliang taught her, she only knew a little bit about it, and she couldn't learn it at all, and she couldn't make normal dumplings. To this. Of course Suliang knew that his girlfriend was faking it. But there was nothing he could do. Since she was his girlfriend, what else could he do? Of course I dote on you. But he promised to prepare the materials himself, but what he has to do has not started yet. On the contrary, Wan Qing and others were self-sufficient and had already advanced the progress a lot. See this. Suliang quickly stood up, intending to return to his position and continue his work. However, as soon as he stood up, Tao Yaoyao took a step ahead of Mu Qingqian and raised her hand. Brother Suliang, neither can I. After hearing this, Suliang could only come to Tao Yaoyao's side. Qin Benjao may be the kind of person who can learn by just watching it once. But Tao Yaoyao really can't do it. Even if you ask her to pretend, she won't be able to do it. After all, my own Yaoyao is a writing witch, but she is a simple girl who cannot even compare to the righteous goddess. What else can I do? Of course I will continue to pamper her. He came directly behind Tao Yaoyao. This time, Suliang stopped doing the unnecessary demonstrations and squatted down directly, hugging Tao Yaoyao. Well. With a soft hum, Tao Yaoyao subconsciously leaned into Suliang's arms, her pretty face flushed, and her eyes a little hazy. See this. Suliang was completely stunned. Isn't it? Although Tao Yaoyao is completely unqualified as a witch, she won't be like this so soon, right? That's totally wrong. Next moment, Tao Yaoyao turned her head and kissed Suliang gently on the face. Her voice was charming and soft. Brother Suliang, shall we two go to the room? Rather than having New Year's Eve dinner, I want to be with Brother Suliang more. It doesn't matter what the meal is. With Brother Suliang, you can be full in every sense of the word. Who cares about the New Year's Eve dinner? Seeing the trace of pride and expectation hidden in Tao Yaoyao's eyes, Suliang couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. The truth is out. No wonder this girl Tao Yaoyao is different from usual. Could it be that she was all in disguise? Where did you learn these methods? Why did such a simple little girl become the little witch she is now? Oh, Tao Yaoyao is a witch to begin with, so that's okay. Suddenly, Suliang remembered that Tao Yaoyao had been following Qin Benjao all the time, and that the eldest sister had a big head and a short head. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Wo Meng. Chapter 638. Really? Tao Yaoyao learned all this from her girlfriend, right? What on earth is your girlfriend thinking about? Why don't you teach your children nothing about it? Unable to bear it any longer, Suliang immediately turned his head, and glared at his girlfriend. Although his girlfriend is reluctant to teach him a lesson, he still wants to let his girlfriend know his attitude. And the other side. Qin Benjao felt confused as she felt the gaze from her husband. What did you do again? Although as my husband said, most of the unusual situations in the family are his own problems. But recently I have been very honest and haven't done anything. Suliang, What an injustice. However, when Qin Benjao cast an aggrieved look at Suliang, Suliang no longer paid attention to Qin Benjao, and turned around to teach Tao Yao Yao seriously. Be honest, today is a happy day, and I don't want to have to rescue you tomorrow morning. Suliang gently patted Tao Yao Yao's little head, making Tao Yao Yao become honest immediately. Indeed. If my brother Suliang really promised me. On the reunion night, he had his brother Suliang all to himself for the whole night. I'm afraid that early tomorrow morning, I will be hung up and beaten by Sister Wanking, the eldest sister and the others, right? It's so scary, it's unimaginable. Then, Tao Yao Yao immediately became obedient and studied with Suliang seriously. For a while, she was learning well. Then, just teach one lesson after another. When Suliang finished teaching his ladies, the other side was almost done. There was no room for Suliang to take action. See this. Suliang could only stand up helplessly. You guys go ahead, I'll go to the kitchen to make something else. After my meal is ready, we will cook dumplings and have New Year's Eve dinner. Okay, I want to go with brother Suliang too. Tao Yao Yao immediately jumped up and followed Suliang. To this, Wan Qing and others had no objection at all. Anyway, Tao Yao Yao didn't pick out a few of them in total. There would be no difference if she was there or not. That being the case, just let her follow her husband. Seeing Suliang and Tao Yao Yao leaving here, Wan Qing immediately brought out some strange fillings. Quick, quick, let's get it in quickly. What are these? Qin Benjao took a look and her expression changed. Sister Wanking, we didn't provoke you, right? Why did you do this to us? Look at what's on that plate. Is it really edible? Isn't it too scary? To this, Wan Qing said very naturally. This is what my good disciple said. When making dumplings, you should include some other things. Whoever eats this special dumpling will have good luck. This thing has nothing to do with good luck, right? Qin Benjao couldn't help but said again. But seeing Wan Qing looking very interested, she did not continue to refuse. Anyway, it would be fine if I gave it to Suliang in the end, and I couldn't eat it myself, so that was totally fine. The other side. Suliang still knew nothing about the operations of his ladies. Now, he looked helplessly at Tao Yao Yao behind him. Yao Yao, if you hold me like this, I can't do anything. From the moment she entered the kitchen, Tao Yao Yao hugged Suliang from behind and carried her wherever she went. Suliang was unable to act at all. Yet, Tao Yao Yao blinked and let go of Suliang obediently. Immediately, before Suliang could feel relieved, Tao Yao Yao came to Suliang again and hugged Suliang. See this. Suliang's face turned dark. Let go, and play by yourself. If Tao Yao Yao continues to act like this, he will not even think about solving this problem tonight. Seeing that my husband's face turned dark, Tao Yao Yao stuck out her tongue, made a face, and then stood aside obediently. Since I can't hold my husband in my arms, it's okay to just watch from the sidelines. As long as you are with your husband, it is the best. The other side. Without Tao Yao Yao's interference, Suliang was extremely fast and was soon ready to make a lot of moves. And just then, Qin Benjao suddenly walked in and took the things in Suliang's hands very naturally. Suliang, let me make a dish. We have agreed that we will have one dish for each person tonight. In the room, everyone sat around the table and looked at the steaming food on the table, all very happy. Now, fireworks were already set off outside the window. Fireworks of various colors and styles exploded into the sky, making it very lively. And on the dining table in front of the ladies, all kinds of delicacies were gathered together, which could be described as a rare feast. After all, it is the first New Year to be celebrated with my husband, so of course it should be a rich one. and among them, most of the meals are cooked by the girls themselves, which can be said to be extremely attentive. However, Suliang looked at the plate of colorful dumplings in front of him, and then at the plate of strange things not far in front of him. His mood was a little complicated. Forget the dumplings, but is that plate of strange things really edible? It's not that it doesn't seem to be accessible, it's just that it's a bit strange. If you want to eat it, you still need a little courage. Turning to look at Ji Hongchen aside, Suliang asked tentatively. Hongchen, did you make this dish? Hey, how did you know? Ji Hongchen blinked and said in surprise. I originally planned to mix them all together and give Suliang a surprise, but I didn't expect that he would find out so quickly. Oops, he is indeed his destined person. Does he actually know him so well? Holding Suliang's hand, Ji Hongchen couldn't wait to say to Suliang. Try it quickly and see how I do it. To this, Suliang coughed slightly and said awkwardly. Next time I'll do it, next time I'll do it. For the sake of safety tonight, you can't eat Ji Hongchen's plate of food under any circumstances. No matter what. Then, Suliang looked at the other things carefully, found one and tasted it for a while, his eyes lit up. Who made this? It tastes very good. It's me. Yuji smiled faintly at the side. I made it according to your taste. Is it to your liking? Yeah, very good. Suliang nodded in appreciation. After countless years of preparation, Yuji's craftsmanship is no worse than his. After tasting another one, Suliang nodded again. Although the taste of this one is not as amazing as Yuji's, it is still pretty good. And from the subtle changes in it, Suliang guessed who made this dish. Kaoj, did you do this? Well, that's what I did. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 639. Yang Kaoj smiled and nodded. After all, he came from the Daxia royal family, and everything Yang Kaoj made had a sense of luxury and refinement. This is something no one else can compare to. After tasting the craftsmanship of others again, Suliang nodded with satisfaction. Yes, she is indeed my wife, her craftsmanship is indeed very good. And just then, Qin Benjao pushed the plate of colorful dumplings in front of Suliang and said expectantly. Suliang, try this quickly, we made it specially for you. So, what exactly did you pack in? Suliang took a look and felt very resistant. God knows what the ladies have packed into these colorful flowers. It's scary just thinking about it, okay. Oh, they are all ordinary things. Try them, Suliang. They are really delicious. Qin Benjao continued to encourage Suliang and wanted Suliang to taste it. But the more this happened, the less Suliang believed it. If it was really a good thing, you wouldn't remind me on purpose. Think about it. There was a smile on Suliang's lips. Benjao, come on, open your mouth. Why are you opening your mouth? Qin Benjao asked subconsciously. Next moment, Suliang immediately stuffed a dumpling and covered Qin Benjao's mouth. After tasting it subconsciously, Qin Benjao's pretty face immediately turned red. Bitter, so bitter. After spitting out all the things, Qin Benjao said with a sad face, almost crying. It was obviously prepared for my husband, but why did it end up in my own mouth? She was simply deceived by her own husband. See this? Suliang smiled proudly. Still want to trick me? Let me tell you, it's impossible. Then, next moment, Suliang was targeted by the girls. I do not want to eat. It was originally prepared for you, how could I let you go? Then, under the threat of the girls, Suliang could only eat a large plate with tears. For a while, the ups and downs came together, but Suliang was about to cry. After eating, the girls gathered in the room, waiting for Suliang standing aside to speak. Since it's reunion night, of course we have to play games. Suliang smiled and said to the girls. When there are more people, we have to play something more lively. Sister Wan Qing's Fu Kang Qian Qian. Qin Benjiao asked curiously. Among the games she knew, this was the only one suitable for multiplayer play. But even for this game, if 11 or 2 people play it, it's a bit too much, right? Of course not. If there are a lot of people, of course we have to play Werewolf, which is more lively when there are more people. Suliang stood with his hands behind his back and told everyone about a brand new game. Werewolf, what is that? Tao Yao Yao bit her finger. Do you want us to capture some werewolves? But is there really such a thing as a werewolf? Although there are many types of ferocious beasts, I have never heard of werewolves. Hearing this, Suliang was speechless. Is it worthy of being a world of cultivators? When it comes to werewolf killing, do you really need to find a few werewolves? So if you want to play an escape room, do you really want to find a secret room full of fatal traps? Don't tell me, this operation is really possible. Shaking his head, Suliang explained to the girls. It's just a game, a confrontation between us playing the werewolf and the good guy camps respectively. Immediately, Suliang informed his ladies about the rules of werewolf killing. Certainly. Although there were many people present, what Suliang told was relatively simple rules. There is no way, the rules of this game are much more complicated than my master's version of Monopoly. Even if you play games, there are learning costs. If it is a simple version, you can learn it after playing 1 or 2 games. But if it is a complicated version, I am afraid that even my ladies may not be able to learn it after tonight. After all, he only had one night, and Suliang didn't want to waste it all on learning the rules. After explaining the rules, Suliang glanced at his ladies. Do you understand everything? To this, the girls nodded thoughtfully. Obviously they still didn't understand this rule. But it doesn't matter. Let's play a game first. After playing, you will probably know how to do it. Smiling and saying to the girls, Suliang came to the head and distributed all the cards in his hand to everyone. Okay, I am the host. Now, everyone should familiarize themselves with their identities. After watching the girls memorize their identities and put their identity tags on the table, there was a smile on Suliang's lips. Now that everything is ready, the game begins. Watching the girls sitting together obediently, Suliang handed the number plates to each of them. Benjiao is number 1, my sister is number 2, Master is number 3, Kaoj is number 4, Wanyu is number 5, Jingmeng is number 6, Qingqian is number 7, Yao Yao is number 8, Hiying is number 9, and Hongchen is number 10, Yuji is number 11. Once the game started, I called them by their respective numbers. Immediately. Chapter 560 Chapter 559 Beating up teammates, the girls' new costumes in a small theater. Seeing his girlfriends all nodding, Suliang immediately announced. Then, the game begins. Please close your eyes when it gets dark. All the girls closed their eyes, and Suliang said again. Werewolves, please open your eyes. Werewolves, please confirm each other's identities. After the words fell, Qin Benjiao, Tao Yao Yao, and Yuji opened their eyes. See this. Qin Benjiao subconsciously covered her face. It's over, it's actually the same as Tao Yao Yao. This idiot can't pretend at all, okay. In this case, wouldn't it be impossible for him to win at all? Although there was no discussion, the girls had a tacit understanding. Winning or losing this game will determine the ownership of your husband in the next few days. Thinking of not being able to meet her husband in the next few days, Qin Binjao had the urge to restart the game. However, when she saw Yuji beside her, a glimmer of hope ignited in Qin Binjao's eyes. Sister Yuji has been battling wits and courage with the abyss for countless years. I think she must be very powerful even in this aspect, right? In this case, there is still hope of winning. And the other side. Seeing that the three werewolves had confirmed their identities, Suliang took the next step. Werewolf, please kill. The words fell. Qin Binjao and Yuji pointed at Wanqing at the same time. The reason is simple. Among everyone present, Wanqing is the biggest threat to them. As the thickest thigh in the family before, Wanqing's strength was not just about being able to hit. Even if they are scheming, they are not Wanqing's opponents, right? And after Wanqing, it was naturally Tan Qinja. After all, Ying Kaoj and Qin Wanyu were both defeated by Guo Tan Qinja. Although Ying Kaoj, who has now become an emperor, is increasingly leaving, he is obviously not Tan Qinja's opponent yet. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Wo Meng. Chapter 640. As for Qin Wanyu and Ying Kaoj, they took it step by step and there was no rush at all. Seeing that her eldest sister chose Sister Wanqing, Tao Yaoyao hesitated and pointed at Sister Wanqing. Although I am very worried about Wanqing's sister settling the score in the future, there is nothing I can do about it. Winning the game is the most important thing. Being able to monopolize the husband, ahem, of course the game must be fair and just. See this. Suliang nodded. Werewolf, please close your eyes, witch, please open your eyes. After the words fell, Qin Binjao and the other three closed their eyes, while Tan Qinja opened her eyes. Is my sister actually a witch? From this point of view, although there are Binjao and Yuji on the other side, the good guys' camp seems to have a greater chance of winning. Of course, this assumes that his master has not been stabbed. And whether to be stabbed or not, the right to choose lies in the hands of my sister. Then, Sulianjun introduced briefly and comprehensively. Tonight, number 3 died. Will you save her? My aunt is dead? It's such a pity. I originally planned to poison my aunt to death tonight. Even if he is a companion, he must definitely take action. After all, although winning the game is important, avenging shame is also important. Let you keep bullying me. Then, Tan Qinja immediately shook her head and gave up the chance to save her aunt. See this. Suliang nodded helplessly. It seemed that the winning rate of the good guys' camp was worrying. So, who are you going to poison? Suliang continued to ask. To this, Tan Qinja still shook her head. Now that the situation is unclear, it is not a good choice to act hastily. See this. Suliang continued the game process. Witch, please close your eyes, seer, please open your eyes. Who are you testing tonight? Jingmeng opened her eyes, blinked, and pointed to her apprentice aside. See this. Suliang was helpless. The most powerful master is gone, and the most important prophet is given to Jingmeng, the most adorable one. It's hopeless, absolutely hopeless. Suliang picked up Mu Qingqian's identity card and gave it to Jingmeng, and asked. Who is this person? Jingmeng pointed his thumb upward, indicating that his disciple was a good person. After nodding, Suliang continued the game process. Please open your eyes at dawn. The player who died last night was No 3. Hearing this, Wanqing was completely stunned. What's the situation? Just after the start, one of our own people is gone? Can this still be played? She doesn't know anything yet. Players, please give their last words. Sulianjun said concisely, not paying attention to his master's confused look at all. Is this the end? There is no gaming experience at all. Wanqing said, a little confused. and make a last statement. I don't know anything, so what should I publish? Are these your last words? Su Liang asked back. Seeing that Wan Qing still looked a little dull, she nodded. Okay, let's continue. Wait a minute. Wan Qing hurriedly spoke up, wanting to make up for what she had said. After all, this is about whether you win or not. How can you be so careless? However, the game is already going on and she has no chance at all. Looking at Qin Binjao, Su Liang said. Start speaking on the 1st. I am a prophet. I tested Master last night. She is a good person. As soon as these words came out, Tan Qinja and Jing Men were confused at the same time. Is my disciple a good person? However, the role of a prophet is still very important, but it is also very fragile. Why would his disciple self-destruct? I feel vaguely that I can't believe what happened to her. But what my disciple said is indeed true. As for Jing Men, he is a little confused. Since Binjao said she was a prophet, then who was she? Am I a fake prophet? And immediately after, Qin Binjao said again. I will test Sister Jing Meng tonight. I think it was Sister Jing Meng who stabbed Sister Wanqing. As soon as these words came out, Jing Meng immediately shook his head in panic. I didn't. However, her attitude only further confirmed her identity as a werewolf. If you didn't take action, why are you panicking? Has Jing Meng even begun to deceive people? Although it is still a bit immature, this is progress. And the other side? Wan Qing looked at her best friend in surprise. Meng, I never expected that you would be the first to betray me. After Qin Binjao, the women took turns speaking again. They were probably all guesses, but they were vaguely approaching in the direction Qin Binjao guessed. Especially Tao Yaoyao, who was completely in agreement. The girls were accustomed to this. For the eldest sister's little fangirl, such an attitude was normal. On the contrary, it was Yuji who made some different suggestions to make her seem to be completely different from Qin Binjao, but this opinion was ignored by everyone. Then, after one round of voting, as a prophet, Jing Meng was thrown out in a daze, and ended up with his best friend. However, on the second night, Qin Binjao and Yuji unanimously decided to kill Tao Yaoyao. Tao Yaoyao looked at Sister Tou and Sister Yuji in confusion. I am in the same group, why are you all attacking me? I don't understand at all. So, sister, love will disappear, right? As for Tao Yaoyao's confusion, Qin Binjao and Yuji gave her a look that reassured her. Don't worry, it will be fine. Qin Binjao and Yuji expressed their determination to Tao Yaoyao. However, both of them were equally a little guilty. Although there was no discussion at all, the two of them were in a tacit understanding and knew each other's thoughts. With the simplicity of this girl, Tao Yaoyao, if she stayed on her side, not only would she not be able to help, but she might actually cause trouble. It would be better to kill her earlier. Certainly. The two of them didn't necessarily want to kill Tao Yaoyao. Isn't there a witch here? In just one day, two people had already disappeared. She would have saved Tao Yaoyao no matter what. They couldn't determine each other's identities at all. If they didn't save her, what would happen if Tao Yaoyao was a civilian? Although civilians do not have any privileges, they are still an important source of votes. How could it be allowed to happen so easily? If the witch doesn't save people. If you don't want to save it, don't save it. One missing peach will actually make the game easier. With this idea in mind, the two of them acted without mercy.